How to use Questrade. So first of all, you would use Questrade if you want to buy your own stocks, if you want to manage your own investments. So in this video, I'll show you how to quickly open an account, the differences between the accounts, and how to use the interface, how to read your balance, how to place a trade, how to navigate with the interface. So if you want to open an account with Questrade, simply go to questrade.com and then click here, open an account. And then you choose the type of account that you want. So it's really based on your needs. They each have their benefits. The most popular one is the Tfsa, the tax-free savings account. It's a registered account, so you need a valid social insurance number to open a Tfsa. The advantage with this account is any gains you make in that account is tax-free, does not get added to your income. So you don't pay taxes on it. The gains, not the contributions, but the gains you make in the account. But there's a maximum amount that you can put into this account to actually invest with. And there are some types of trades that you cannot do in a Tfsa. It's really intended for investments. You could still buy a stock for $200, let's say, and then sell it at $250. Nothing's going to stop you. But if you start day trading in a Tfsa, so every day you buy and sell the same stock, then that's going to be considered day trading and you're going to be taxed heavily. Then you've got the RSP, which is also a registered account. And the advantage there is the contributions that you make to this account gives you a tax credit, reduces your income the year that you make the contribution. The gains that you make in the account are also tax-free. But as soon as you withdraw the money from this account, the year that you withdraw it, you're going to get taxed on it. So the advantage of this is that it gives you a tax credit immediately. And then you've got the margin account, which is a non-registered account. So this one is taxable as soon as you make sales in the account, but it gives you more options to trade. There are different types of trading you could do with the margin account. So it really depends on your needs. If you're an active trader, the margin account might be best for you, but you're going to be taxed as soon as you make a sale. And please use one of the referral code in the description below so that you don't leave money on the table and get something back. I've got 2 referral codes. One gives you $50 in trades for free, and you simply just enter the referral code here and click apply. And the other one gives you up to $250, but it depends on how much you deposit in the account. For example, if you deposit $1,000, you get $25 back. If you deposit $10,000, you get $50 back. If you deposit $100,000, you get $250 back. So if you're going to deposit less than $10,000, then maybe use the referral link that gives you $50 in free trades. If you're going to deposit more than $25,000, then use the other code that's going to give you $75. And once again, once you choose the account that you want to open, this is where you enter the offer code and click apply. It's that simple. So once you've opened the account, which is all done online, you answer a few questions, you fill out a few forms. It's all done electronically. You don't have to move anywhere. You don't have to go anywhere. You don't even have to mail anything. Everything is done electronically. It could take 2 to 3 business days if you don't waste time. You'll get a login and a password as soon as you fund your account. And to fund your account, you just send money the same way you pay your credit card bill online with your bank. So you simply add Questrade as a payee in your online banking. So let's say you deal with CIBC, you go to CIBC online, you log in, you add Questrade as a payee, and you add Questrade's account number that you get as the account number. And then you just simply make a payment. And usually the funds arrive in 1 to 2 days. When I send money to Questrade, the next business day, the funds have arrived. So it's pretty good. So if I send it on Monday, Tuesday morning, I'll see the money in my account. So once you have your login and you funded your account, then you're able to log in. So once you log in, it'll usually bring you to your summary page or your accounts page, as you can see here, but you could move around, you could change. If you want to go to trading, if you want to trade, either click trade here, or you can go to accounts and click trading. And this brings you to the trading interface. Now, if you have more than one account, you can toggle between accounts over here. So you could choose the different kinds of accounts. See, I've got 4 different accounts with Questrade, 3 different registered accounts, and 1 margin account. So the best way really to learn how to use an interface is just to click everywhere. Try the different options. Don't be afraid to click. You're not going to accidentally buy something or sell something because there's going to be confirmation windows before you actually buy a stock or sell a stock. But as you can see here, the first thing you can see is that there's different tabs here: balances, positions, orders, executions, activity. So the balance, of course, shows you how much money you have, and then in your balance, you have the different lines. Now the margin is a bit more complicated, so let's just use an easier one like the RSP account. So you have your total equity, you have your cash, you have your market value, you have your maintenance excess, and you have your buying power. So what really matters is your total equity. That's how much you have in total, which combines the cash and the market value. The cash is your cash, and market value is the equities, the positions that you've bought, the stocks that you've bought. So the market value plus your cash gives you your total equity. And you could toggle between current and start of day. So obviously start of day and current might be different. If the market is open, then your current is definitely going to be different from your start of day. And then if you click on positions, it shows you what you have. And don't be afraid to click on buttons. If you click here, all positions, you could see, I want to see all my positions. I could see stocks and ETFs only. I could see options only, depending on what you have. So just obviously the most popular is to see all your positions. And you could decide right next to it, you have group it by position, by underlying, or by strategy. Just try it out, see what happens. If I click by position, it shows me every line item that I have. If I do by underlying, it shows me by underlying. And then if I do by strategy, it shows me by strategy. And here I can filter if I want to look for a particular position that I have. For example, L brands, it'll only show me L brands. So really nothing complicated, easy on the eyes, very simple interface. For example, I have a strategy here called a covered call trade. So that's why I group it by strategy, because I want to see it that way. But if I do it by position, it's going to show me too many lines, which isn't user friendly for me. So in my case, I group it by strategy, but in your case, it might be something else. And then over here, right next to it, you see edit. If you hover over this button here, it says edit the columns you see. So if you click on it, you can decide which columns you want to see in your portfolio. So for example, if I open this up, I'm able to see open quantity, average price, open P&L, days to expiry, and the date and time I made the transaction. So because I deal a lot with options, I like to use days to expire. I like to see that, but you might not need it. So you could change that. Simply remove it here. You could also move it up if you want to see it first. If you want days to expiry to be the first thing you see, you could manage that. You could add all this if you want. As you could see, it really depends on what you need. And if you make a mistake, you want to go back to the original setting, you can restore to default settings. You've got this symbol lookup icon right here, pretty obvious. So this is where you go if you want to look up a stock. So simply go on symbol lookup. You write, for example, Tesla, and you're able to see the stock. Wow, Tesla's trading at 460 pre-market, ridiculous. So you've got information on the stock, the bid, the ask. So how much someone's willing to pay for it, how much someone is willing to sell it. We've got the volume, we've got the 52-week high, 52-week low. You've got the yield if it pays a dividend. As you can see, it doesn't. You've got the margin requirement. You've got the market cap. We've got the expected earnings date. Now, if you wanted to see the option, simply click on option here, and you could look up the stock. So if Tesla has options, you'll see it. So this is the option chain. But if you look up something that doesn't have options and you click on it, it's going to tell you this symbol has no options. So if I go back to account, so as you can see, there's different tabs here. It's not complicated. So to begin, most of the time you're going to be in account. And when you look up something, it's going to bring you to a different tab automatically. So if I look up United States Steel, I looked up options, it brings me to options right away. If I look up Six Flags under stock here, I can toggle between, look up Six Flags. As you can see, I'm under stocks. Now, how to place an order? Let's say you want to buy a stock. So you looked it up, you search for it, and now there's many ways of buying a stock, but the easiest way is once you look up the stock, let's say Visa, just click on the buy sell icon right here. So if you click on it, you can see the order entry window on the right side updates automatically, and the quantity automatically populated is 100, but you could change it. Of course, you could change it with the minus sign or the plus sign, or you could enter the amount that you want. You can write the number that you want, and it shows you the bid and ask. So let's say you want to buy 5 shares of Visa, and let's say you want to buy it at this price here. You could just click on it and automatically populates this price, and then you could change the price if you want. And then you've got the order type. A market order will buy the stock at whatever it's being sold at. So usually you can end up buying the stock at the ask price right away. A limit order allows you to choose the price that you want. It's usually the most popular because you want to choose the price that you want and wait for the market to reach that price. And then you've got different types of orders that I don't necessarily use, but if it's something that you use, then you're able to use it with Questrade. So if you want to use a stop loss or a stop limit or a trailing stop loss or a trailing stop limit, you've got the options here when you buy a stock and when you place your order to begin with. For example, if you want to only buy the stock, then you've got the duration of the order. So you place an order, but at the end of the day, if it doesn't go through, it gets canceled. If you want to keep the order several days, then you can click good till canceled. So the order stays open until it's executed or until you cancel it yourself. You could use a date, good until this date. And obviously you've got the account number that you're buying from. So always make sure you're in the right account number. And then you either click buy or sell. So obviously if you're buying shares, you're going to buy. And then once you've bought it and the order goes through, if you go to orders, remember we were in balance, positions. If you go to orders, you're going to see your order placed here. Here, let me just place a fictitious order here. Let's say I want to buy 5 shares of Visa at $175. I might not have enough buying power, but let's say I want to buy 1 share of Visa at $175. I'm picking an exaggerated price because I don't want it to get executed. I pick the ARSP, click buy. So I get this order confirmation window, as you could see. So it's hard for you to accidentally buy something because you have to go through several steps before you actually buy something. So once I place my order here and I've got this confirmation window, it tells me I'm going to buy 1 Visa at $175. It's a limit order because Visa's trading at $189, but I want to buy it at $175. So it's only going to get executed if Visa happens to fall all the way down to $175. This is a commission that I'm paying. And then I could either do not send or I can send order. So if I send order, as you can see under orders, I could see my Visa order here. It's an open order. If I click on it, I have the choice to modify it. It brings me back to this window here, make some changes. Let's say I want to buy it at 174.95 instead. I click buy. It's a modified order. I click send order. It gets changed. I could also cancel it right here. I could cancel order or I could cancel all Visa orders. And then once it gets executed, then you're going to see it under the executed tab. Now, obviously I've got all this because I've got some executed trades, and you could go in your executed tabs. You could go all the way back to 3 months and you could filter. You could filter and see if you're looking for a particular symbol, you could filter under your executed trades. Now I'm going to cancel it, but as you can see, it's really not complicated. But once you buy, so it goes into order, and once you buy the stock, it actually goes through. It's going to end up in positions. So if I group this by position just to show you, see, I've got 800 shares of Bombardier at $1.82. So now it's in my positions. I own it. It's in my equity. It's going to be part of market value over here. So let's say I own it and I want to sell it. So there's many ways of selling it. I could look up the stock, look it up in the symbol lookup here, and then sell it. But the easiest way, of course, is if you already own the stock, just click on the position. And if you click on it, this pops up, buy and sell, automatically gives me how many shares I have, 800. I pick the price that I want, $1.92, for example. Pick the duration, pick the order type once again, depending on your needs. But this time I'm going to click sell instead of buy. So I'm going to sell 800 shares. If I click sell right now, see, it's giving me an order confirmation. Sell 800 shares of Bombardier at $1.92. If I accept, click send order. Now, I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to cancel. But this is how you would sell something that you already own. So most of the time you're going to be using balances, positions, orders. I don't use executions or activity that much. I usually use orders and executed tab here if I want to see what's been executed. But most of the time I'm going to be using balances, positions, orders, and of course this over here to look up the symbol that I want to look up. I'm going to toggle between my accounts. I'm going to use the order entry window over here, of course. And then what's good about Questrade is that you could move things around. You could add gadgets. So if you come on the right side here, so you could hide this. If you want the full window to be used for this only, you could hide it by clicking here. But it's very useful to have the order entry window here. Now, see, there's 3 little buttons here. What happens if we click on it? I could delete it. I can move it down because I've got different gadgets over here. I could edit the columns that I want to see. So over here, I've got a watch list. This wasn't here before. I added it myself. So if I delete it, this is usually the default layout. An order entry window and balances. Now I can actually delete the balances if I don't want to see it here. In fact, I will delete it, and I could add gadgets. See, you have no gadgets open. Click below to add a gadget to your workspace. So if I want, I can add a watch list. A watch list that I've already created. I could actually add it as a sidebar. So it's going to show me on the side here, or I could even add it as a browser. So it opens a different web page. So if I have several screens, I can have different windows open. So if you're an active trader, this could be useful. In my case, I don't need many screens open at the same time. So I like to keep it as a sidebar. And I just put it here on the side. I created a watch list, and this is the watch list that I like to look at. So for me, this is what I usually look at every day, or I like to look at during the day, is the VIX, the volatility, the SPY, the Qs, DIA, and IWM. but it could be different. In your case, you might not even need a watch list if you don't want. You could always go to this section here, choose the watch list that you want, and just look it up. And even this watch list on the side here that you create, you could even change it. You could change the columns that you see. I don't need to see the bid and ask nor the change. Yeah, maybe the change percentage. Close it. There's more gadgets, really depending on what you want to see. You could add a chart. It could come in as a browser. So you've got your own. Let's look up, I don't know, Six Flags again or Visa, and then you could see the chart of a particular stock more in depth. But you don't have to use Questrade's charting system. You could use an external chart like Yahoo Finance, for example, or TradingView, but the option is available. And to create a watch list, it's very simple. Just click on watch list. And what are your choices? If you look here, all you could see is this and this. So what happens if I click on this? Manage watch list. Let's click on manage watch list. So these ones are already created, but what if I want to create a new one? Add watch list, maybe create a new watch list. Yeah. And then you just write the name, call it whatever you want. Watch list number 1, click OK. So now I've just created a watch list. So as you can see, watch list 1 is what I just created. And now if I click on the buttons again, manage watch list, I can name this watch list, or I could save a copy of this watch list and give it a new name. But what if I want to add stocks to this watch list? So I'm going to go choose it here so that it shows up. And as you can see, my new watch list is empty because I just created it. And if I want to add symbols to it, then I simply just add symbols to it, add whatever I want. And now my new watch list that I just created has these 2 shares, has these 2 stocks that I can use to look at and track. Wow, Six Flags has a 7% yield. That's pretty good. And if I want to delete the watch list, once again, click edit this watch list. I can remove the symbols, or I can click on manage watch list. And there you go. This minus sign, remove this watch list. It's gone now. I've got a confirmation window, so in case I accidentally delete it, there you go, it's gone. I just deleted the watch list. So once you've created your watch list, and if you decide to add the watch list as a gadget here on the side, then you have the choice, then you could see it here. But you might not need to create a watch list. Really, it depends on your needs. You could set up alerts. It's pretty cool. I've got alerts set up so that I get emails or text messages when a trade gets executed, or when a stock moves more than 10%, or when there's heavy volume on a stock. So it really depends on what you want. You could set it up over here. See, I've got this set up on my Tfsa. Price change over 10%, send me an alert or an email. Pretty simple. Really, you just choose what you want as an alert. You could do custom alerts as well. You've got notification methods, email, text message. So it's pretty useful depending on how busy you are. If you're not able to watch the market all the time, but you want to be alerted if something happens, just set it up over here. Pretty simple and useful. So I've got all these alerts set up. I don't even remember them. I don't know what this alert here is for daily. Okay, so it's the same thing. So let's try a custom alert. So let's say I have MasterCard, price, category, 52-week high, volume. So let's say condition. So I've got the condition here, bid price. So if the bid price is lower than 290, for example, send me an alert, sell fast. And I could write the note that I want. Notification method, email or SMS. Alert duration active for a year, active until date, outside trading hours. Click activate. So now if MasterCard drops below 290, I'm going to get an email alert and it's going to say sell fast. So I don't have to keep watching the market if I'm busy. I'll just get an email if this happens, but obviously I have to set up the alert, and as you can see, it took 5 seconds. But yeah, really depending on your trading, but most people will be using just the simple, most people just want to buy stocks and hold on to it to sell it a little bit later. So if that's what you want to do, really simple. When you initially log in, it's going to bring you to the account summary. So if you want to trade, you have to click on trade over here. Then you could go to your trading window, and here you could easily toggle between them over here. And then you make sure you're in the account that you want to trade in. You look up the stock here. Let's say you want to buy Tesla, although it's super expensive now, it just keeps flying. You look it up, you click buy. Decide how many shares you want to buy. Let's say you want to buy 1 share. Click choose the order type, pick the price. I want to pay $33, for example, just something exaggerated because I don't want to buy it. Duration, make sure you're in the right account. Click buy. You get a confirmation window. Click review the details. Click send order, and you're going to see it appear in your order window. If it's all good, you just let it stay. And if you change your mind, just click on it, cancel it, or modify it. So that's now. If you want to make changes to your account status or look up the activity, if you go under accounts, if you go under accounts over here, accounts. So if you're before you were in your trading window, but if you go back to accounts, you could see your account summary. If you toggle over reports, you could see your investment summary, your investment return, your account activity, your statements. Every month you're going to get a statement, your trade confirmations, your tax slips. If you go to account management, basically it's account management, your settings, your profile, market data, find forms, upload documents. You're going to be using upload documents to upload your ID or certain forms to begin with. You can go to refer a friend to get a referral code so you can share it with people. Funding requests, you can transfer funds, exchange funds. You've got quick links here, withdraw funds. So if you want to withdraw money, this is how you would withdraw it, straight back to your bank account. Pretty simple, no fees. You could update your password, trade confirmation. You've got your profile, your settings. If you want to change anything in your profile or settings, or email or password. Just a note here, with Questrade, if you obviously start off with Canadian money. If you want to buy a US stock, even if you have Canadian money in your account, so as you can see, it's separated, Canadian, US, and then all in Canadian, all in US. So this is your actual balance, your actual Canadian and your actual US. This is what it looks like if you look at it all in Canadian, and this is what it looks like if you look at it all in US. But for example, in this account here, I actually have $150 Canadian and I actually have $11.95 US. But if I want to see combined what it looks like, I have $1,700 Canadian and combined I have $13.11 US. But this is my actual values. So once you buy, you start off with Canadian. Once you buy a US stock, it'll get converted automatically to your Canadian funds will get converted to US funds automatically, and obviously the stock stays in US. And then when you sell your stock, the money stays in US. So once you sell if you sell a US stock, it's going to stay in US funds. It's going to stay on the US side. So you're not converting back and forth and losing money on the conversion fees. For example, Wealthsimple Trade, which has no commission to buy a stock or sell a stock, does not allow you to hold a position in US. So if you buy a US stock with Wealthsimple Trade, it's going to charge you conversion fees, and then if you sell it, it's going to convert back to Canadian right away. So it's going to charge you conversion fees again. But that might not be a good idea, because you might buy a stock that you're interested in. Let's say you buy a stock at $200. You start off with Canadian funds. The USD CAD, the US Canadian rate is, let's say, 1.3. So you're going to convert $1,000, let's say, at a 1.3 rate. So you're going to end up with 769 US. You buy that stock for $200. The stock goes to 250. You want to sell it, right? So 250 divided by 200, you make 25% on the $769 that you invested. So that 769 US becomes 1.25. So that 769 US becomes 961 US. But if you're forced to convert back, what if the day you sell the stock because you're happy with the price, what if the Canadian rate is $1.10? The US Canadian exchange rate is $1.10, for example. So if it gets converted automatically back to Canadian, what's going to happen is you made less money than what you thought you made. You only made $50 when you thought you made $200 US. If you had converted back at the same rate, so if I had 961 US and I converted back at $1.30, then I end up with 1249 Canadian. So I started with 1,000 Canadian, I ended up with 1249 Canadian. That's because I was able to convert back and forth at the same rate. So that's the danger of forced conversions, is the rate might not be beneficial. It could actually be beneficial. The day that you decide to sell your shares, and the rate might be higher, 1.35 for example, so you're actually going to make money in that case. But the fact that you don't know what the rate will be in the future, and then you're forced to convert back to Canadian as soon as you sell your US shares, is a disadvantage. So that's why Questrade has the advantage of selling. When you sell your US shares, it stays in US funds, and you decide if you want to convert back to Canadian or not, based on the exchange rate. So in registered accounts, it's going to stay in US. In the margin account, though, it's different. In margin account, it won't convert automatically. If you don't have US funds in a margin account, it will force you to borrow. All right, so I hope this video helped you understand how to use Questrade, how to navigate in the interface. So if you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section below. Thanks for watching.